Hey everybody. So I have a few updates, and I realized for like the dozenth time in my life that you can't avoid Facebook. Um, it's actually just kind of, in my case anyway, it's kind of cruel to people who um, otherwise don't have a way or a means of easily keeping track of my wellness. And I especially feel that I owe that to so many of you who kept me going. So I'm back. I also just want to go ahead and kind of rip a band aid here. I know people talk, and I know that a lot of you may already know this, but most of you probably don't. And in line with my coming to you with absolutely no makeup, I honestly haven't showered in days. That's that. This is me. This is life. Back to the band-aid ripping. As many of you know, I smiled my way through advanced stage cancer and every kind of chemo and immunotherapy and treatment, radiation, surgeries for about 6 years. And, well, I would not recommend that to anyone going through hard times. One of my oncologists used to always tell me, Jessica, you've got to stop being a hero and start being human. But I wouldn't listen because as a woman and just, I don't know, as a lot of things, as someone who did a lot of leadership stuff, whether it was Sunday school or student government or public speaking, I have been trained to put on a really brave and happy face, even when I was suffering. And that landed me in the psych ward. I was Baker acted on the 6th of January. I want to make it clear that I had absolutely no intention of committing suicide. And I want to also use this opportunity to say that we have to stop stigmatizing suicide. Really. I wish we would, because how wonderful and luxurious of a life you must have had if you've never once suffered so much that you've considered opting out. And if you're so privileged and so blessed and lucky to be that way, please stop judging and punishing those who aren't so privileged and haven't had such an easy life. That being said, I had no intention of committing suicide. My paperwork literally says that I was Baker acted, which means you're held in a psych ward against your will for a minimum of 72 hours for being severely, severely depressed. I was literally in a state of post-cancer psychosis and was advised by a lot of professionals to basically stop communicating altogether with anybody that I wanted to maintain a relationship with, which is a lot of you. So that would kind of explain my sudden disappearance. I will be honest and say that that experience of being Baker acted was utter hell. But here's the thing. I spent 6 years smiling in my red lipstick and high heels through living hell. And that resulted in me going to the ER in pain and physical pain, only to have them admit me to the psych ward, where they, against my will, shot a bunch of Ativan into my arm. So I should have by all means chilled out, and I still proceeded to spend about 3 hours screaming at the top of my lungs and trying to rip that room apart. I finally got angry, and I'm allowed to be angry. Nothing I've been through is fair, and it's not fair when it happens to any of us. So I wanted to continue to be vulnerable and more human and honest and just put that out there, and let people know that I am fine. I am medicated now. I feel like I'm getting back on my mental feet, but I don't think that would have been possible without finally losing it and getting angry and letting myself feel everything, the weight of everything that I pretended not to feel for so long. And no one ever asked me to pretend. I put that pressure on myself, especially as women. We're trained to smile through our suffering. And so today I just want to admit that smiling my way through suffering landed me in a psych ward where I mostly just gained a lot more PTSD. And ultimately it was worth it. I rediscovered a lot about myself and about the world and about others and about compassion. So I'm grateful. Ultimately, the outcome was worth it for me. But that happened. Here I am. I literally went psychotic. There you have it. It's out there. Say what you will. Doesn't really matter anymore, which is a good feeling. So anyway, I am going to come back to Facebook because it's way too much work on my end and on y'all's end to try to keep up super individually, as much as I do treasure some of this individual communication I have with many of you. It's just this, unfortunately, is the platform that's the easiest way to keep people up to date. And like I mentioned earlier, I feel like that's the least I can do when you all lent me so much strength and encouragement. And I want to just keep living honestly and openly in hopes that it'll help other people who are struggling. You're not alone, and you don't have to smile through it. And I encourage you not to. And I love you all, and I appreciate so much your continued support in whatever way that is. Thank you. And I guess I'm back because thanks Zuckerberg, this is like the easiest and only way I can keep in touch with as many people as possible right now. Which, now that I am out of psychosis and merely severely clinically depressed and severely anxious, I have clearance to be in communications with people again, and I'd like to be. So I'm back. Sorry for any confusion or worries that you've had. I hope that you're well, and I hope that if you aren't well, that you aren't forcing yourself to pretend otherwise. Find a safe person or a safe space where you can lose it if you need to. Please. Let me know if I can be that person for you, and I will. All my love to all of you, as usual, and thank you again for everything.